everyone, welcome to The Horror Obsessed. I am Blythe Slutter, and this is my horror t-shirt for My Bloody Valentine, which means that just around the corner it'll be Valentine's Day. Now, so for Valentine's Day, normally I would go ahead and talk about the My Bloody Valentine films. There's two of them. There's the original and the remake. But I have decided to talk about the film that I got to see last night. There is a group here in Missouri called Destroy the Brain, and they put on a late night grindhouse horror film. And I've never gone to this before, so I was super excited to go, and I went thinking that this was a different movie than it was. When I got there, I sat down and they show these amazing trailers for films that are very similar to the film that you're seeing. Well, the film was called Possession. Andrzej Żuławski. Oh, he was Polish, that's right, because he had to leave Poland during the 1980s, which was very devastating for him. But he decided to write this with someone in New York named Frederick Tuten, and originally the script was only like 60 pages long, and he wanted to make it a feature-length film. And what it was is that he wrote about the very dramatic divorce that he had with his wife at the time. So, this film follows like this really audacious relationship between Sam Neill and his wife in the film, Isabelle Adjani. And Isabelle Adjani actually had won Best Actress for this at the Cannes Film Festival, which is amazing. She did a beautiful job in this film. What happened was that they start off showing you this broken family. The mom and the son, Bob, who is in the apartment there in West Germany, and this is before the wall for Germany had fallen, so every once in a while we get images of the Germans at the wall watching over it to make sure nobody's trying to break it, nobody's trying to jump it, nobody's trying to destroy it, or I already said destroy it, but graffiti it or anything of that sort. During that time, Sam Neill's character, who is an international spy, decided that he's going to quit his job to be with his wife and son, which is actually quite romantic. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Like, it's the one thing that all families that have fathers that work away want, is for them to quit working away and come home. And what's even better is that he makes a great deal of money doing it, so he is able to support his family and leave. Now, the spy agency he works for, which is never really like disclosed, specifically asked him to stay, and they say they can't find anybody like him and they really want him involved. So they do fight a little bit for him to stay, which is fun, which is great. You get that kind of back and forth. And what really blew my mind is I know Sam Neill from like Jurassic Park or Event Horizon, so I know an older Sam Neill. This is like one of his first roles. I wouldn't say his actual first, but like it's got to be up there, because his teeth weren't straightened. He had like like, he was so young. He was so very young still. And you could tell, like even a couple times I forgot it was him. And then he would smirk or he would smile in such a way that you would be like, oh, that's right, you are Sam Neill. Because I remember that from Jurassic Park or from Event Horizon or from the many thousand other films you've been in forever. So he looks a little odd. It's not quite him, but it is him, obviously. I mean, it's Sam Neill. And it is like a trip. They have H.P. Lovecraft elements in it, and they have like a David Lynchian world going on inside of both Sam Neill's brain and Isabelle's brain. It is just insane. So Sam Neill plays Mark, and Isabelle plays Anna, and I believe she also plays the doppelganger slash teacher of Bob, because it's her, but they changed the eye color drastically, so probably contacts. I mean, there was contacts in the 80s. So she goes from having bright blue eyes to bright green eyes, unless they did it in post. That would be weird. I'm not entirely sure how they did it at this moment, but it's gorgeous. So Sam Neill comes home, and Anna wasn't expecting him home that soon, and so she is not ready to confront him, ready to have him back in her life so much. And that kind of puts this break between the two of them. And one of the themes, it might be just because they're in Europe, and I'm not entirely sure, but Anna and Mark constantly lay in the same bed naked. And just naked. Like, they're not making love, they're not cuddling, they're just laying there, like, flat. And then they have this conversation about, like, how do you feel about each other? And they're like, I don't really have feelings for you. I don't really have feelings for you either. And it's so weird, because it's like the impending doom of that relationship can be felt in the first few scenes. And it is so amazing how it was put. And then as the film progresses, Anna disappears and comes back. And every time she comes back, she becomes a little bit more crazy or insane or just epically throwing things about and just she's a mess every single time. Like, she's covered in crap, and she has to constantly change her clothes, but she only changes it there at the apartment. And then Mark decides that he's going to have a private agency follow her to figure out what's going on, because at first he thought it was another lover, and he confronted that other lover, and it was like she spent time with this other lover. His name was Heinrich, and apparently he was better than Mark in every way, blah blah blah. And so, like, obviously Mark wanted to confront him and figure out what's going on. And anytime you have a lover that tells you that you're not good enough anymore, you always want to know why, what happened, what changed. And that's what Mark does. He goes to Heinrich and he confronts him, and Heinrich, like, beats the holy hell out of him, only when Mark attacks him first. And they become these kind of, like, frenemies. Like, they're friends now, but they definitely don't like each other. Like, Mark knows that he can use Heinrich against Anna, and so he kind of friends him with that purpose. And you can tell that international spy information in his brain is saying, I have an asset here that I can use against my wife, so I'm going to use it. So the detective agency starts following Anna, and they do the worst job in the world. So you sit there and you're watching and you're like, what are you doing? Oh my god, you are the worst spy ever. Like, they chase her within like 5 feet of her, and they're like running after her, and they're making it super obvious. So, that's when we first see the first part of the Lovecraftian side of this film. Anna feeds the detective to this squid-like creature that she has either created or found. There's really not a ton of information on it. Sometime during the film, Mark gets a 16 millimeter or 35 millimeter film, and he puts it in a projector and he watches it, and it's Heinrich filming his wife during a time in which she was teaching ballet, and it was the first time that she started breaking down mentally, and he got it on film, and it was her explaining that there's these two sisters in her brain. One is Faith and one is Chance, and it seems like one has more control over the other. And you can see, because they do it often, they go in her eyes, she gets wild. Like, they're so big and they're so bright, but they're so like staring into your soul the whole time. And he actually grasped the knowledge from that, and in doing so cleverly sends several people to the location of the Lovecraftian monster that is being created, the squid monster. It may not actually, I mean, all in all, it probably isn't Lovecraftian, but it reeked of it whenever I was watching it. So I felt that. But I've been reading a lot of Lovecraft, so that could be why. And what was really cool is that Mark takes his son Bob over to the teacher that looks just like Anna, and leaves him with her after they've tried dating. It didn't work. But he wanted to make sure that Bob was taken care of properly, and he goes after Anna, and he goes to the location, and when he gets there he finds nothing but dead bodies and everything. So he decides he's going to clean up for his wife, and he creates this elaborate like way to destroy the place. He turns on like the gas from the stove, and he gets matches and a light bulb and all kind of stuff, and then he leaves. He doesn't blow it up yet, and he goes to find Heinrich because he sent Heinrich there, and Heinrich called him to let him know that, you know, his wife has gone insane. And Heinrich, still madly in love with Anna, explains to him that he wants to try to help her, wants to do something like get rid of the bodies, or, you know, whatever to do it. And Sam is like, or Sam Neill's character Mark is like, it'll be okay, you know, it'll be fine. I'll take care of it. It's no big deal. It's, you know, it's fine. It's fine. She's like that. She does that. It happens all the time, kind of thing. And Heinrich, who is bleeding like massively, dying of being stabbed, is in this tavern, and Mark makes an elaborate way to kill him and leaves him there. So it looks like he just did a bunch of drugs and died. And then he goes back to the apartment, and he lays the light bulb on the matches, like opens the matches up and puts the light bulb directly on the matches, turns on the light bulb. So when the light bulb actually gets heated up, it catches the match on fire, and then that whole place blows up, and there's fire everywhere. Anna's not in it. She's gone. And so he goes home. And when he goes home, he finds that Anna killed another person. He grabs that person, puts her in the bathroom, and then talks to Anna. And Anna and him finally see eye to eye and understand each other. And feel like they're in these two different worlds still, but they feel comfortable with each other finally. And so Mark and Anna make love in their kitchen, and then Mark tells Anna to take the car to Marty's place and go to Marty's place. She's like, he's here, and Mark's like, okay, I'll close the door, and he closes the door. Anna leaves with the squid-like creature, and Mark decides it's time to do a lot more cleanup, so he goes around taking Margie's body, who was slit in the throat by Anna. I have no clue. Or maybe Anna's squid person. That part wasn't really explained, so she was just standing around dying of blood loss. So Mark grabbed her and let her die in the bathroom, and then puts her in what looks like, it's kind of like a clothing bag of some sort, which was pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that. It looked like it was thick like this, and like the size of a human body. I'm like, wherever you got that, that's awesome. I should probably buy a couple from Amazon or something, you know? And I'm not going to give away the end of the film because I want you guys to watch it, because it is this squid person, and the Lynchian parts of it I'm not explaining to the greatest detail here. You have to watch it. It will blow your mind just how incredibly weird this film is. And there's so many horror elements. The Destroy the Brain people, when they described the film to us right before they let it air, they said that it was more of a drama thriller with a tinge of horror. And that tinge of horror is a ton of horror, but it's all amassed towards the end. You like get more of it towards the end than you do towards the beginning. And it's not a slow burn or anything. There's a lot that's going on. It's happening. It's drastic. It gives you everything you need. So all in all, I would say definitely watch it, because the end is so hard to explain, and it is gorgeous. Like, I think that they had true love despite breaking up, and it shows in those last actions. So is Possession, 1981, with Sam Neill. Check it out. And watch more horror.